All all right, guys. Today we got Michael Ashley Cloud. Just call you Michael Ashley.
Michael
Um,
Ashton.
there you go. Just recently, Black Sky Tribe, Defiant Mechanism, ironically,
Yeah,
and former bands. I know Medicine Man, Lightning Fury from Phoenix,
yeah,
Arizona, as well.
yeah,
And
man.
Shadows of Light, Reckless Abandon, which I listened to some of your stuff there,
Yeah, man.
and not to mention, I know you do some designs too. M. Ashley Designs, correct?
Yeah, yeah, I sure do, man. Yeah, that's
Uh,
a passion of mine, actually.
all right. And also, you're on your new podcast, you're previewing a lot of your past music. Like you just did a Halloween episode where you're like, this is Halloween of '07, '08, whatever. But
Yeah, that was Shadows of Light. We had a good little run in Nashville. And Charlie Fan, the drummer, had an annual Halloween bash. Like that's actually how I met Charlie, is just a random Halloween party at his house, and so it started in his backyard, and then it evolved into our very first show as Shadows of Light, and uh, and we did an annual Halloween bash, and so I've had a lot of fun kind of editing those videos together and sharing them on my channel just to kind of give some of the fans that remember our Halloween show back in the day some memories, and it's been a lot
oh
of fun for
yeah,
me. Yeah, it was fun. We put a lot of effort into those shows, and so people kept coming back, and it was definitely a lot of fun.
oh yeah, I got cats too. Mine are
Yeah,
locked out right now, or they'd be, star of the show right now.
right, brother.
Yeah, with your bands, man, I noticed a lot of genre jumping, man, and I love it,
Yeah,
man. It's like,
yeah.
but it shows your talent to me.
Thank you.
And
Yeah, when I moved out here, well, obviously the Reckless Abandon stuff, thrash metal, from that's how I kind of started, and they just Thrashback Records just released that on CD this year. Man, it was crazy. I couldn't believe it, dude. They my our demo from back in the day, both of our demos, they released them. So thrash metal was my roots, and then
mhm,
Lightning Fury, they I saw them at a actually those guys were well known in high school. They were kids. They were kids,
mhm,
man. These kids were just well known for being really, really good musicians. It's like a three piece basically, and they had a few singers. They were called Lightning Fury, and
mhm.
after Reckless Abandon broke up, I was catching about all the bands one year, and they were there, and they completely won. They had a singer, and they were looking to replace him. So I joined that band, and it was crazy, man. They were like these funk alternative metal guys,
Yeah.
and just sick funk. And so of course this was the '90s. Started
Mhm.
kind of branching out from thrash metal and all kinds of stuff. You're gonna remember Spin Doctors and
Oh
Blue
yeah.
Sky Warrior, and just all kinds of great stuff in the '90s. And so of course trying to emulate all that stuff and trying to be relevant. And so got into some funk and some blues and all kinds of stuff there. And when I came out to Nashville, I made a demo of a little bit of alternative, a little bit of contemporary uh, songwriter, singer songwriter stuff,
Mhm.
like like a I don't know, like a Godsmack kind of metal, and then it's just straight up metal demo.
Right.
And everybody in town, everybody I talked to said I had a really great metal voice. So
Mhm.
that's kind of what I went towards. I kind of moved away from the funk and that kind of stuff, and had a pretty good run in Nashville doing all kinds of hard rock, metal. Beautifully Crude, which you forgot to mention, was one of my more popular or more commercial sounds. I remember a few people telling me after coming out of Shadows of Light,
Mhm.
metal, which was like a disturbed Mudvayne-ish kind of vibe. Um,
Okay.
and all of a sudden I was singing like, like I don't know, like commercial.
Like
Uh,
new metal kind of. What you talking about? Like new metal kind of sound.
Yeah, well, this we actually had a little bit of a pop sound. I'm thinking Buck Cherry, kind of almost like
Oh,
chemical,
okay.
My Chemical Romance kind of thing going on. It's not, we weren't a bunch of kids, skinny kids with
Right.
eyeliner, but it was a side to me. It was a happier side to me, and a lot of people was like, "Dude, I didn't know you could sing." It's like
Yeah.
I was singing in Shadows of Light. I just screamed also. You know what I mean? I'm just not
Right.
screaming anymore. I'm singing more happier melodies, and
Right.
the melodies people are singing along to, and they're gives them a little happier vibe. So I think that's why they realized I was actually singing,
Right.
like a bird, so to speak, and instead of just doing melodies like
Right.
metal.
Well, I dug the spiked hair and the you had like the red tips and stuff, man. I saw that picture.
Yeah,
I was like, man, he went new metal for a while, didn't he?
right. I sure did, man. After my first band in Nashville, we got a write up in the Nashville or the Nashville scene, and it said that we had an '80s songwriting heart, and in the 2000s, man, that was kind of like a death note. Of course, I wrote all the music, so they were like, "Get rid of the guy with long hair and get
Well,
somebody with short hair." So that's what they did, and then of course it fell flat on its face. I always kind of resented those guys a little bit. It's like I would have cut my hair.
right,
Jesus Christ, man, what the fuck? But anywho, I did cut my hair just to
right.
kind of prove them wrong. So I was like, hair is gone because this was 2003, and it's
Yeah.
a crazy story. I kind of like I said, I kind of got ousted from that band. With from within, band politics, and I think somebody was on some pills or something, but kind of
Usually.
sabotaged that whole thing. That's usually how it goes down. But 3 months later, Medicine Man, biggest band in town, was looking for a singer. So kind of
There you
got to
go.
jump right on stage with those guys to packed houses. So, it ended up working out okay for me, I think.
Well, yeah, and of course I got introduced to you because Black Sky Tribe. Uh,
Hell yeah.
My cousin Jason comes home or comes to Dover, visit with the family. He goes, "Man, you should hear my new band. I got this
No,
great singer, Michael Etch." I was like, "Okay, I'll check it out, man." And that was my
Jason's your
introduction.
cousin? Is
Jason
Jason your
Cotter.
cousin?
Yep.
No way.
Yeah.
No kidding. Oh,
My
man,
first
Jason,
cousin.
he's my best friend, dude. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Hey.
Me and Jason, it's crazy because Jason, he was one of the first guys I met in Nashville,
Mm-hmm.
and we became instant friends. And just, his family is just such a loving family. I mean, just,
Yep. Yep.
it's
Jim is
so,
my uncle. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. Jim's great. And Gail, I mean, they were just so loving to me. Some guy
Right.
from Phoenix, uh, over every night for dinner and that sort of thing. And, always had the same kind of love for music, but, Jason was a hell of a singer back then. He just wasn't much
Mm-hmm.
of a player. And
Mm-hmm.
we tried to start a band, and it just kind of fizzled out. And I ended up joining, N2O, and then Medicine
Mm-hmm.
Man, Shadows of Light, Beautifully Crude, and Question to Chaos, and maybe a couple more I can't
Yeah.
remember.
It's
And then
weird we never did make that connection, man, because it's like me and you
I
become
know,
friends. And
dude.
then,
Yeah, long
yeah.
years ago, man. We're talking. I never have really kind of remember what year I got here for sure, but it was either
Mm-hmm.
96, 97, or 98. And
Mm-hmm.
I was definitely here by 98. And yeah, me and Jason were already writing songs back then, man. And we're pretty good, darn friends then.
Well,
And
see,
here we
I grew
are.
up with him, and that's where I started playing. My uncle did, but also Jason. So he'd
Yeah.
come down from Nashville, and of course, my mom's Jim's sister. So yeah,
Okay.
first cousins, man. Yeah. So
That is cool. Wow, man. Yeah, what a good dude, man. Good family. You got some good people in there, man.
it's like,
Good
well,
stuff.
we finally make the connection. There, Black Sky Tribe, guys.
Well, yeah, man.
Coffee.
Black Sky Tribe, crazy when I decided to go to do the album with Defiant Mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Jason had Black Sky Tribe for 8 years, which is
Right.
the longest band I've ever been able to keep together. I mean, something always happens. Me and Jason had such chemistry, and of course, Craig Ausbaugh on bass has been just like Craig was in Black Sky Tribe, Question to
Mm-hmm.
Chaos, uh, Shadows of Light, and he
Mm-hmm.
was also in, of course, Forgotten Fable for years. They were pretty big around town, but you know, having him in the band just made it such a rock. And we went through a few drummers, but you almost feel like we're just on a break right now, man.
Right.
Me and Jason, we're not writing right now, but we're definitely still vibing the same as we always have. So
Right. Oh yeah,
it's
I'll
good.
hear him. When it all works back out and everything, they're like a new album, whatever, it's gonna come out. I'll be one of the first to hear about it. So trust me.
For sure, man. For sure, dude.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, okay, on your podcast, Are you pretty much just going through the years of your music, or what is all on your podcast? I've just seen so many videos, man. I'm just like,
Yeah. Well, check it out, man. I had gotten I signed with Red Feather Recordings, man.
mhm,
We decided to do an album, me and David Dix, and we did the album. And right as I was about to release all this stuff, in addition to being in Black Sky Tribe, I started the website, to push the new material.
mhm,
And right before it was all coming out, Defiant Mechanism dropped in my lap. So,
right,
you know, it's like, man, I got to push this stuff as hard as I can until
right,
Defiant Mechanism takes off. So I did both of them, and was pushing the solo stuff, and I was handling the YouTube channel for Defiant Mechanism, and
right,
we were recording episodes while we recorded the album, and
mhm,
it's a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. It was good. And then when that fell apart, it was like, oh my God, like now I've already released all this stuff. So now what am I going to do
wide range of
with the
material.
channel? Yeah.
Mhm,
And so, um, I was crushed when Defiant Mechanism just fizzled, man, so
right,
fast. After only 7 months, we had so much potential. It was, the world where was the limit.
right.
And gosh, I tried everything to save it, but it just fizzled out. And you know, it was time for me to do a little take at my career. Personally,
Mhm,
I didn't really, David Dix of Red Feather, while we were recording the solo stuff, he was kind of my mentor about this social media thing, this whole
right,
YouTube channel thing. He really schooled me on a lot of that stuff, man. In between recordings, we would watch videos and, train ourselves on that stuff. And then I ended up taking a couple courses on social media and a course on YouTube
mhm,
channel. And, one of the things that struck me that David told me, he has a friend that has a studio page or studio YouTube channel, and he goes to studios. And of course, he went to Red Feather and
right,
shot an episode with David. And he told me that the guy told him that he just released a video a week for 2 years, and he had 40,000 followers. And his wife was quitting her job, starting her
mhm,
own company, and they were just, at that point, kind of making a pretty good living for themselves. And all it took
right.
was 2 years of diligent, you know, uh, YouTube content
Yeah,
combined
yeah,
with Google ads and promotion and certain SEO scores, and just doing all the right things. And if you do all that stuff, it doesn't even
yeah,
matter what the content is.
right.
It's
Well, yeah,
supposed to
we had
it's supposed to
discussed
pick
some
it.
of that. Yeah.
So, but I did try to make my content enjoyable, because I wanted to be honest with you, I just wanted something for myself to look back on my career and say, hey, these are my favorite songs all in one place. And David also said, I said, well, man, if I release the new stuff on my YouTube channel, is it going to affect Spotify and Amazon
Right,
sales and all that stuff, where we're going to actually make a little bit of money? He
right.
said, no, talking about the song is always going to promote the song.
Mhm,
And I was like, you know what? He's right. So that's what I decided to do, a song a week. I would do an intro to each song. And these are
mhm,
songs that aren't available on Spotify. So these are just and songs from my collection, my personal collection of recording over the years. So,
right.
I didn't have to worry about copyrights. Um, all the band members so far have been really cool about it. I would like to release some of this stuff that's not,
Mhm,
like Lightning Fury stuff needs to be out there, man. It's good stuff. And you know, uh, there's several bands that I'd like to get out there. Beautifully Crude, I think, deserves to be heard too. So,
yeah.
but for now, I just, I dedicated myself to one video a week, and I did that
Mhm,
for a while, and that was fun. And so I was, you know what, I got some live videos. I'm going to do a live video every 2 weeks, and I've just been doing that. And I'm actually waiting back to digitalize my eighth grade talent show. As soon as
oh,
I get that
wow.
back, I'm going to pop that up as the final video of 2023. The live stuff, and
Mhm,
the the series Classic Michael Ashley, which is where all this has been coming from, is what the brand I've been pushing all year. That's going to be coming to an end this year on December 14th or December 24th. So it's just been therapeutic, man.
Therapeutic.
To get, as soon as I get this last video up, I'll be done with a whole year's project, and I can take the rest of the year off, man. And I'm going to be recording next year. I'm just looking forward to life. It's been fun, man. And I'm
full
so
of
proud
life,
of you
brother.
too, man. Yeah, you've been taking off like a rocket so far, man. And
It's been snowballing. Well, let me tell you.
Yeah, I know. It's great, man. It just takes doing it,
Well,
just deciding you want to do it and doing it.
Well, this is the kind of thing I loved. I've always been kind of I play music too, but I've always been kind of the groupie a lot of the time. You know what I'm saying? I'm surrounded by music, of course. My cousin, my uncle. I'm surrounded by it, brother. So, yeah, I mean,
you're a fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I love it
too, man.
And right now, I'm promoting the Nashville scene big time. Okay, and that's one thing I want to talk to you about today. I got friends from LA. Okay, their friends are moving to Nashville, not Chicago, anywhere. Nashville, man.
I know, man.
It's a huge thing. I mean, hell, you got Dave Mustaine down here right now.
Oh yeah,
and for future reference, that my painting up here. Well, you can't see it right now. It's my Scott Ian art from Scene 4. So kind of hopefully get Scott in on here eventually. So
man, a huge fan too, man.
Yeah.
Dude.
My buddy Corey Danziger from the other show, that's who does the art studio in LA.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah. So you got like Chad Smith, Stuart Copeland.
Oh, dude. Yes.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, that's great, man.
But I was so proud of that. Yeah, I'm gonna get some thrashers because I love thrash music too.
But yeah, dude. Well, you can't go wrong with that, man. I think music period is a cool vibe. We're nowadays music is almost becoming background music to everyone, even myself. I see the effect on myself, and I'm a huge music. I mean, I'm a musician, a songwriter. So anytime we can promote music and talk about music, and that's what YouTube's all about. As far as I'm concerned, it's not about video games and stuff, but a lot of people do that too.
Well, see, I like to do my little side thing with video games, but
you do, don't you? I forgot about that.
It's kind of, hey, if you want to check this out, it's all retro stuff. It's not new stuff, man.
It's so hot though, man.
It's nostalgic. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, cool. Yeah, dude. That's a great man.
Yeah, I'll bring out the Sega Saturn and be like, "You remember this beast?" You know what I'm saying? And then let my kids see it, and I'll be like, "This is before it was all digital, man."
Yeah,
first 3D era.
Mind blowing, probably to them.
It's like, foreign.
I can imagine, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, with your music though, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out a particular genre, but I can't. From one to one, it's thrash, it's new metal, it's hard rock. It's just an enjoyment of all music, man. I mean,
yeah, dude. Fuck yeah.
I'm not what you call a metal elitist. You ever heard of those people? The metal elitists?
Yes. And see, that's when you've done multiple genres like me, you do run into some of those, man. Like Shadows of Light wasn't even that hard metal, but when they started singing like a bird, all of a sudden you had people, literally like coming to the show going, "What are you doing, man?"
Right.
I'm like, it's fun, man. I'm happy. I don't want to sing dark and doomy. I'm happy. I'm sing about some love and whatnot. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
I call it the Metallica load disorder.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. When you're top tier like Metallica, they cut their hair and everything. But ever since then, it doesn't matter. It's like you sold out, man. And it's like, no, you know what? I want something more out of it than, I want my Cannibal Corpse, but I want my ABBA. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As
a musician, you've got to continue evolving. Because if you don't, you're
Yeah.
just cutting your own throat, which is easy once you've done it as long as I have
Mm-hmm.
to not listen to music as much because unless it's some songs I'm writing myself,
Right.
because there's just over the years you hear less and less that inspires you as a musician.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a lot of it starts sounding the same, and every now and then you hear something, oh whoa, and it clicks something in your brain and it connects to some other influence in your head and you grab hold of it. But for me anyway, it's been it's very few far in between like it used to be when I just hear something and just like a sponge and just
Right.
absorb it and immediately put it to some sort of work that I'm on, apply it to some song or something.
Right.
But obviously there's been guys that have done that to me. I've heard
Mm-hmm.
Chris Cornell, which is a huge, feather in my cap. He's one of my favorite singers.
May rest in
I don't
peace, man.
necessarily hear a whole lot of Chris Cornell in my voice, but if someone else does, I think that's amazing.
I could hear it. I was there was somebody in
Like you said, there's
particular.
different styles. I mean, sometimes maybe I sound a little more like him than others, but yeah, I don't try
I
to. That's for
I
sure.
I was thinking a little bit. And this should be a compliment. Russell Allen from Symphony X.
Oh wow, yeah, yeah, great, great
It's
vibrato.
your high pitch. It just seems to resonate right there, and I'm like,
Oh, yeah, cool.
you know,
Well, I
the
used to try to sound just like Jeff Tate of Queensryche. That was like,
oh,
you know, that was what was hot when I was in high school, even though I was in a thrash metal band and they wanted me
mm-hmm,
to sound like James Hetfield. So I had,
mm-hmm,
when I wasn't playing with Reckless Abandon,
mm-hmm,
I was singing to Jeff Tate and I was doing some recordings and stuff and had a little side project in a band called Roadkill that we did a bunch of
mm-hmm.
covers. And yeah, Queensryche was just, I loved, yeah, it's like showing off, man. I could do Jeff Tate in
Right,
high school, what I mean?
right.
I wanted to show off, but they were like, "Look, man." And I was also doing the screams, like the King Diamond screams and the Jim Gillette falsetto stuff back then, And they were like, we're going for more of a James Hetfield, Metallica,
Yeah,
Megadeth down. So that's what
yeah,
I
but
did. I was like, you know what? James Hetfield's bad son of a bitch. Yeah, I can, and that's where I got a lot of my power, a lot of my growl from James Hetfield. So he was like
uh,
one of my early influences.
well,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
He ain't got the
Um,
widest vocal range, but my God, nobody can sing and
Power.
yell clearer
Yes,
than
yes,
James Hetfield
yelling. Yes, yelling in
and make
key
it
and
musical.
with attitude. Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of where I was trying to be. Among other places, because Reckless Abandon ended up evolving into like this '90s Seattle metal grunge thing.
Right.
And so I started singing a little more like Chris Cornell in that band, um, which was fun. But yeah,
Well, it's good
uh,
to have your influences,
dancing.
man.
Yes, exactly, man. I'm glad that I've been I've said this for a while. I was young enough or old enough, I guess, to young enough to experience a little bit of the '80s hair metal when I was growing
Mm-hmm.
up, and there's some silly stuff that everyone loved back then, Wasp and
Striper, give me Striper. Anyway,
Striper, man, all that stuff, dude. That's what I'm saying. We were into it, man. And then thrash metal came into our lives, and you know, but then after a while, man, metal was not mainstream anymore. Metal kind of disappeared. You still had Metallica and Slayer and stuff like that, but it was not on the radio. And so all of a sudden, the heaviest stuff you could find on the radio was Faith No More or something. And so I started turning over to the pop station, started getting
right.
into Boys to Men and, Spin Doctors and, stuff like that, not entirely a whole lot, but it started kind of working its way in, man, just that pop sensibility. I'm glad. I'm grateful
Right.
that I experienced it, but I'm glad I didn't get stuck in the thrash metal. I'm glad I didn't get
Mm-hmm.
stuck in the '80s hair metal because I know people that have got stuck. You know what I mean?
And they've been
Years
there for
that
30 years.
they never left. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's weird. That's how it's popular again now, but they missed like 30 years,
Yeah.
like you said, of all this other styles that they could have evolved into, and a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people have, a lot of people did from that era. I mean, uh, I'm a huge huge Dave Mustaine fan, and
Oh
his
yeah.
right hand nowadays is faster than it's ever been.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
I
so
heard the
he's
new
pushing.
album and I'm like, wow.
It's just incredible, man. And to come full circle, I did kind of leave Metallica, even though that's where I started. Uh, I've come back. Metallica is still just incredibly tight, man. Lars may
72
not hit,
seasons is good.
he may not hit every single feel like somebody like Tommy Aldridge still doing the same feel,
Right.
even into the 70s. Uh, you know, but Lars was, innovator, man, so he don't have to
He
do
doesn't
what
have to, man. He arranged it. But the
yeah,
thing is, you got to serve the music. You don't have to be, you know,
right.
you don't have to. If it serves the music, you
No
know,
doubt. Yeah, no doubt. You might remember that awesome fill that he did off of Ride the Lightning, but when he does it now, you don't miss it
yeah,
because they're so tight, man. They're
yeah.
just this Metallica is the tightest band
But
on
the
earth.
hit on the tom, man, bum bum
Yes,
bum.
every
That
time on. They're like it's like they rehearse every day or something.
yeah.
You
And
know,
I like
literally 8 hours
72
a day.
seasons, but I don't know how you feel about it. But 72 seasons, I love it.
Yes. Oh, the new one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, that's the newest one. Yeah. But yeah, love it. I wasn't yeah, even the one before that, I can't remember
it
something
was good.
magnificent.
Yeah,
It was good, yeah. But this new one, I definitely identified with it. It just seems fresh.
feel it.
Even though it's the same kind of vibe,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I saw Dave Mustaine watching a clip of it. It's
Mm-hmm.
like he was kind of giving them shit about not having blast beats. But at
Right.
the end of the day, it's like it's kick ass.
Well,
That's the
the
way he put
last
it. That's
song
the
in
way I would put it.
particular, the last song on there is going to be a
I have
classic.
to check that out again, man.
Yeah, it's
I
that
would,
when it starts off slow and it's like that 11. It's the longest song ever done. The 11 minute.
oh, no
Uh,
kidding. I don't think I've heard that one yet. I need to check it
listen
out.
to it, man. It is. Oh,
Yeah, dude, I
but
heard him on Howard Stern the other day. I don't remember when it was filmed, but the mix with my earbuds in was so clear, and I mean,
mhm,
just you could hear the guitar in the one speaker and the guitar in
mhm.
the. I mean, it was so tight. You could tell it was live. Just blew me away, man. I was like, man, they are still the Kings. I mean, and I've seen them like 20 times.
It's
They
inspiring.
never disappoint, man.
It's always inspiring to watch these bands go so far. And you just mentioned one of my favorites, Fake No More. They've been back
Yeah, me
together,
too.
and of
Oh
course,
man.
of course, you're not going to try to sing like Mike Patton. You're going to kill yourself if you try to sing like Mike Patton. But
Sure.
but
He
he's
does
not
that.
human.
Right. He has the biggest range, I believe. They've
Six and a
proven
half
that.
octaves.
Yeah, that is
It's
insane.
it's stuff
Yeah,
you
I'm
go
not
to
trying to
music
criticize.
class. They'll tell you, don't do this. Mike Patton, go ahead.
Right. Yeah, he's allowed. We'll
But
let him do.
you'll see that was his album right here. I got. Um, this is one of my most inspirational albums, Mr. Bungle, California. That was the one. That was the
Was that the
last one,
first? Okay,
huh?
the last one. Was it the
But
last
not to count Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny. The redo they
one?
just did. This was the one. It was more pop kind of, but
Right. Huh.
I advise anybody to listen to it. It's got the Retro Vertigo song on it,
Huh.
stuff like that. And they do like anything from fusion of Beach Boys, and then all of a sudden it'd be like a thrash part in it, kind of thing.
Right.
But the musicianship of Mr. Bungle, it's like they can pull it off. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's one
Is it,
that I would advise you to take a listen to.
I
And
will. I'm open. Is it Dave Lombardo on the drums, or
not
is
on
it
this one. It's the
before he came?
original.
Okay. Okay.
It's
Well,
when they
he's good too, man. That back in the day, I have to admit, I was like, oh, these guys are too crazy for me. I'll take Tomahawk over this or whatever.
oh,
But
Tomahawk's great, man.
yeah, yeah.
That's a
Oh
super
man,
group. Oh yeah.
yeah. Oh, dude, he's got some. I mean, he's so talented, man.
That's right. He's got
Uh,
so many bands.
right. He's got so many bands. The Italian opera stuff, and
Oh,
just
Mondo Kane.
yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Oh,
good
that was
stuff.
so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just awe, and you're in awe of what he's doing. Like, oh, you talk about genres,
Yeah.
different genres. And that guy's got it down.
But
Metal, I mean, screamo metal too.
right. it just
Crazy
inspires
stuff.
us all these things that people are able to do, and it keeps people wanting to change genres and try different things. It also tells you as you grow older, you're never too old for it. You keep on, you have growth, and a lot of people, their vocals grow with age.
Sure.
You know what I'm
Oh
saying? It
man.
matures, and
Yeah.
then you can hear it in a lot of different music, man. And hearing it a lot in the Nashville scene. That seems to be, it's erupting again.
Yeah, I'm not as predominant in the scene as I used to be, but I do kind of keep up with some. There are some great bands out there right now, for
Mm-hmm.
sure. David Dixon, Blackwood is probably my favorite local band, but oh man, I've got so many friends in the scene. Uh, Ronnie, I'm drawing a blank, but obviously the guys in Defiant Mechanism went on to
Mm-hmm.
form Blackwater Down, and they're doing pretty good.
Right.
Yeah, I need to get back out there, man, because those are the only two bands I can think of right now, and that's sad. I used to know every band in town and every club member in town, but it's a new era,
Yeah.
and I became a YouTube channel guy this year, but
Right.
I'm gonna get back out there, man. I'm definitely looking forward to writing some music. I got a new studio set up. So going to be demoing at the very least some
Mm-hmm.
ideas and try to get back into Red Feather and get some new stuff going on.
Well,
So that's
yeah, I'm trying to, maybe one day I'll get in another band again. I'm not easy to work with. That's what I've been hard.
well, hopefully I don't have that reputation.
If what I see of you,
I'm trying
I
not
don't think you have that, and I don't may not necessarily be a negative. It's just maybe I'm one of those people that has to do stuff solo when it comes to a band. Maybe I can't deal with the other three people in the room. Maybe I'm just one of
one of
those
those.
people.
Yeah,
You
nothing
know,
wrong with that, man. Yeah, I mean, if you hear something, you got your Paul McCartney's, man. If they're hearing something, let's hear what they got to say. I mean,
we'll just send Ringo to go talk to John. I'm not going to talk to him.
right there
That
you
there you
go.
go.
Oh man, I don't know if you heard about this. Roger Waters re-recording or re-recorded "Dark Side of the Moon" with no guitar solos.
Oh,
That's a little extreme.
it's
He
kind of
does
like,
spoken word instead of guitar solos, I guess. Apparently, I have no desire to really hear that, man.
I'm sorry, but I put it on the same line as adding bass to "And Justice for All." But
Yeah,
people said, "What? It sounds so much better." I'd be like, "It just wouldn't have the same feel, nostalgia to
that's
me."
true. It wouldn't be as
It,
tight, would it? It'd be a little looser. I've heard some mixes on YouTube. It does sound
right,
pretty like large and fat. But
right.
it was the thing about when that album came out is I was a little bummed it couldn't hear Jason Newsted because I was from Phoenix, man.
Right.
Flotsam and Jetsam were hometown heroes. Literally, I
Mm-hmm.
worshipped those guys since I was 10. And here, Jason Newsted, his first album with Metallica, the biggest band
Mm-hmm.
in the world, you couldn't hear him. You know,
Oh yeah.
I was
Well,
hugely disappointed. So, but that album was so tight. It was the first time I'd ever heard everything so tight in
mm-hmm.
headphones like that, and just like
Yeah,
um,
blackened.
just incredible. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And so the material is amazing. So
yeah.
you can kind of tell that's James on all the rhythms and stuff. But man, good stuff anyway, dude. Him and Lars are pretty tight.
Oh yeah.
So,
What do you listen to right now? What was it like? Anything big that you listen to right now? Any particular
as
band?
far as new music,
It don't have to be
um,
new. Is there just something you caught yourself listening to right now? Just kind of just.
well, I'm really big on Big Wreck and Ian Thornley.
Mm-hmm.
His band from Canada. They're probably my favorite band right now. Just there's nothing that they release that I don't just love.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest with you, man, I don't know if it just comes with age, but these days I have a little bit of an anxiety problem, and it's not. It has nothing to do with what's going on in my life, but I can start getting anxiety pretty quick driving home from work.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is. There's so many people in Nashville now. So what I found is I just pull up my Amazon Music and put on
Mm-hmm.
some Huey Lewis and the News,
Yes.
or or Billy Joel, or you know, I mean, I've got tons of them. Prince,
You got those go-tos and
Seal, yeah. Just they just make me feel. I sing along to them. It takes my mind off traffic, and I have fun. And they're so much fun to sing, especially Huey Lewis and Billy Joel. Those
I
are my
know.
two all-time favorites. They're just feel good music, man.
And you got to find it whimsical that your metal friends are be like, they have no idea what I'm listening to right now.
No, they don't need to know.
I've
And it
done that
keeps my
too.
voice. You know what I mean? Huey Lewis is a hell of a singer. Billy
Right.
Joel is a hell of a singer. So, me singing along to those, I mean, I get a workout in my voice, takes my mind
Mhm.
off the road and makes me in a good mood and takes my anxiety away. And, and I'm good the rest of the night,
Yeah. I
So
think you're
it's
hooked
almost
on piano right now.
hooked on something.
We just mentioned that the other day, and you were
Oh,
like,
yeah, piano and
yeah.
keyboards. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
like, maybe I've watched too many Depeche Mode. You listen to too much
Yeah.
Depeche Mode.
So it's great stuff,
And then
dude.
you're like, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm like, hell, that's what I'm putting on right now, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Yeah, yeah. There's just no limit, man. Queens of the Stone Age is another band I'm listening to right now. Um,
Well,
just they can't. Their newest album is one of my favorites, and it's kind of lyrically it's hitting home right now as well.
right.
So
Well,
definitely. So I'm
my
getting
obvious
inspired.
pick,
It's awesome. What's
my
that?
obvious pick, Ghost.
Yes, I love Ghost
All
too,
my
man.
Funkos. Yeah, I got all the Papas.
You do.
Uh, yeah,
That's great.
even Papa Neil over here. May he
Yeah,
rest in peace. But he comes back every now and then.
he does.
And then the original Ghost album, right there.
Yes. Yeah, dude,
Uh,
that guy is so brilliant, man.
what to me,
Good stuff.
we finally got a rock star again. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? It's
Oh,
kind of,
he does.
and
He's got
the
it.
music is, it's like it or hate it. The music is so tight. It is.
And it's dark and deep and moody, and makes you think a little bit.
But see, I
So,
guess what I'm saying to a lot of artists, and I try to tell them, especially guys coming up now, they think, they want to play a keyboard, put it on TikTok, whatever. I'm like, you need to look at these guys back in the day. There is,
right.
there, in the struggle they had to make certain music, they had a 4-track player. They had to, there
Mhm.
was no time for error. Okay.
No, man.
Something beautiful came out of it, man.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm
man.
saying? First demo I ever did, hell, I was a 90s kid. First demo I ever did, I had this little 4-track tape player. We would record each on each of the 4 tracks, right?
Sure, man. Yeah. And then
There
bounce
was,
them down.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, there's something about that made that music so much more magical to me because it took so much more to get it done instead of just hitting a button, hey, it's done. You
Right.
know?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's definitely a challenge. It's a different challenge these days
Right.
because you've got to give it some soul.
Well, you do.
If it's not a conscious effort to make it soulful or make it real, it just sounds too plastic, too
Mm-hmm.
cut, too perfect. And I'm not, I don't like that sound.
Right.
I don't mind, tuning a backing vocal here and there, but we want to hear the emotion. And
Mm-hmm.
if you tune something, you lose all the emotion. So
Right.
the human voice, man, it's not meant to be tuned. It's just, do some scales, learn how to be in
Right.
key.
Well, that's
Much
why
better.
I wanted you on the show, man. Like I said, we've had a friendship here for a while now. We've
Yeah.
discussed everything, man, and
Yep.
we've
Yeah.
always seemed to get along no matter
Yeah.
what. And
No
then it
doubt.
was like I was like, our connection was Jason, but we had never ever mentioned, hey, that's my cousin. And
No, not at all, man. We
that's
just had two opinions that were different that we were able to talk
yeah.
amongst ourselves and not hate each other.
Well, see, that's
Which
how,
is
but we
great.
got connected through Jason. We just didn't know that was.
Didn't know it.
And
Yeah.
then I was like, oh, wait a minute, that was your singer? And I was like, hey, I've already befriended him on Facebook. And I guess I never brought it up, but you can see my musical background. We'll go before we finish here. I will tell you one thing about Jason. We were talking about Justice for All. The first Metallica song I ever learned was from Jason. He came down one Christmas, he had his acoustic guitar.
No
Do,
shit.
do, 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 do,
Yeah.
do. Harvester of Sorrow. First one I ever learned thanks to Jason.
No kidding.
No kidding. Now, I
Yeah.
was always a guy that was always a sound kind of guitarist. I hear something, and I had to learn to play left-handed anyway. So
Oh, okay.
I started off with a right-handed guitar somebody got for me. So I flipped the strings. Well, I played it upside down a little bit, and I was like, that ain't how you play it. I'm like,
Right.
I got to learn, you know.
Yeah.
But speaking of him, I mean,
Yeah.
rock on to my cousin Jason Cotter, man. He taught me my first Metallica song. We had one sitting there, and I learned Harvester of Sorrow, and I never stopped listening after that or playing
Right.
it.
Yeah.
So, like I said, just moved on from there. But yeah, it's funny
That's
you're
cool.
talking about Injustice. But I mean, and a
Yeah.
lot of people on my page, I'm trying to introduce them to your music because you have such a wide range of everything. Like I said, from the old bands from Phoenix that you've had, and
Yeah.
now coming to Nashville. Something brought you to Nashville too, man. And it's
Yeah.
just maybe it's a wonderful world of music. And some people
Yeah.
think it's just country music. No, it's
Oh,
widespread.
no, man. Yeah, that's what I told my friends from Phoenix when I moved down here. And I tried to get a few of those guys, especially my buddy Lance and from Lightning Fury, just smoking bass player. You know, I mean, just
Right.
like he would have showed up in town and everyone would have went, whoa, you know, and then of
Mm-hmm.
course we would have done the rock scene for a while and then he probably would have got stolen, you know, and gone on tour with, you know, who knows who, you know, Dwight Yoakam or somebody and getting paid a salary 5 times
Dwight.
any of ours. I just pulled him out my butt, you know. I
Well,
like him.
I like Dwight.
I do too, man.
That
There's
twist.
very few. Yeah, he's got that little dance. And you know, I respect a man that can act too, you know, and
Oh,
I don't get
Sling Blade.
end a whole lot of them. What's that?
Sling Blade. I'm sorry. First thing came to mind.
Blade, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
man. Good stuff,
Well,
dude.
well,
I love
go
what
ahead
you're
and get
doing.
baptized. I don't give a shit. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I could do that all night, dude. Maybe not that movie, but I love
Yeah.
one line. I could do
Yeah.
Dewey Cox all night long, man.
Do it.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite movies, dude.
Oh man.
Good stuff, dude.
But yeah, I appreciate you being on the show, man. I mean,
Yeah,
you got a rocking world, and we're gonna have to do this again. I mean,
sure,
seriously,
man.
because
Yes.
and we'll have different themes or whatever. Like I said, my show's growing. Hopefully by the end of the year, I'm gonna slow down a little bit. I've already got a line of guests, which I never would have thought.
Oh man, I'm so happy for you, dude. That's great.
This was not.
I
It was
didn't.
not supposed to be this big this soon.
Right.
I always said it, and my friend Corey, the one on my other interview, he's from L.A. He's the child actor. He said,
Yeah.
"Your first interview was Courtney Gaines, Malachi."
Yeah.
He said, "What did you expect?"
You're going up from here, buddy.
I was like, "That's,"
That
and
was a really cool
it was a lot
interview,
of
man.
pressure. It was a lot of
Yes.
pressure.
Well,
Oh,
you know, you seem to be handling it, man.
well, I'm trying, man, and
I
like I
feel
said,
you gotta just do it, man. You gotta do it. You get better too, you know. You don't
rockers, entertainers, everything. I said, we've even talked about Nexus Pirate Girls. You know what I'm saying? Girls in pirate outfits.
right.
If
Dude,
I said if they want
whatever
to,
you come up with is gonna be cool, you
they want
know.
to wrestle in Jello. I don't care, And then
Let them do what they want, man.
it's all about
Listen,
love. It's all about having fun, and I mean, you got to respect the musicians and everything. That's what I want everybody taking the show. Respect and admire the musicians, the actors that I get on this show, and learn that you work hard at anything you do, and you'll make it. You'll be successful to yourself, number one, and that's
right.
what matters.
Yeah.
So,
And one thing that David Dix, which I obviously admire a lot, my mentor, he said something once. He said, "Man, before we get together again to record, I want you to make a video." This is before I started anything on my site, any of my intros, anything. I just had a lyric video on there. He said, just make a video, talk about whatever. I don't care what you look like. Just try setting up some lights and make a video. And and so I was like, oh man, but I did it. And obviously it was crap. I would never have put that out there. But that started it all, man. That right there was enough to start it. If you
right.
never start, you never get better at it, and it's never going to happen. So yeah,
Yeah.
like you said, if you work hard, you're gonna do it as long as you start. You have to
Yeah.
start to do
I like
something.
that.
Yeah,
That's
man. And it really sank home with me, and it's sat with me this whole time. And I'm pretty proud of what I've accomplished in just 1 year. So
mhm.
it's been
Well,
fun.
you got okay. You said you're ending the classic Michael Ashley
Yes.
podcast, right? Now,
Yeah.
you're going to be out, you're still going to be doing podcasts, correct? Or is it
I'm
just
still
new
going to be
format?
doing. I'm going to be doing some intros, and one thing I originally was going to kind of feather in with some gear. I mean, I'm working at Gibson, so I have access to all these great guitars that I could take home and try out. I know it's just saturated all over the internet, stuff like that already, but that's one thing I'd enjoy doing it. And that's another thing, man. Do whatever you enjoy doing. And if
Well, yeah,
nobody watches, who cares? That's the way
right.
I look at it, man. I don't really care if nobody gets into the, you know, Les Paul Jr. review that I do, whatever.
Right.
It's going to be fun for me to rock
It's
out to
fun
this
for
gear.
you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And
exactly.
yeah, but that's not all I'm going to do. I'm going to obviously be writing music and try to do
Right.
some. I'm getting into doing music videos. That's what I'm going to try to
Mhm.
do. Actually, put some quality videos out for my solo stuff and riding with the new gear and hopefully it's going to be a good year full of that stuff. What else was I going to do this year? Well, I had a lot of ideas, but it's a lot of work, man.
It
That's another
is
thing. I don't. I want next year to be kind of open for the songwriting thing. It doesn't mean I'm not going to be putting out some podcasts, if you will. Talking about whatever, and I'm going to still do that, but it's not going to be every week like it was because
right.
it was fun and I loved it, and I kind of obsessed over it, and I needed that because of some
Mhm.
crazy stuff going on in my life this year. But I'm ready to put it down for a little bit, and I'll be watching your program for a
Mhm.
while, watching other people
I
do their
appreciate it.
thing, and
I
then I'll
appreciate
be
it.
jumping back in there at some point.
Well, before I end this show, I will say everybody heard of my last one. I will be introducing a co-host, my
Oh
best
wow.
friend, and we call him Salty Crawdad. Okay, so it'll be
Okay.
Nexus Pirate. Sometimes I'll have Salty Crawdad with me, and
Cool.
we're
Love
gonna have a
him.
new venue as well. We're working on backgrounds and stuff. So
Right. Right,
it's
man.
this is for next year, man. We got big things
Sure.
coming next year,
Dude,
and
that's great. Yeah. You
shame
started
on
it.
you,
It's
McDonald's,
evolving.
the McRib.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you still in my thunder again.
Still in the
Now,
thunder.
but I'm glad we welcomed Michael Ashley aboard today. And now we're gonna have to tell him to walk the plank. All right.
Yeah.
So
Get out of here, buddy.
but all righty. But yeah, check out his podcast. He's got big things coming up next year. And check out all the mini bands. Believe me, I'll put them down below. All the mini bands this man can sing in, different
Okay.
styles, different genres, you name it. If you want to thrash out, you rock out, whatever, this guy's got it. All right,
Appreciate it.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. It was an honor, man. Seriously, let's do it again sometime soon, man.
Let's hear it for all the musicians out there. Sincerely, Nexus Pirate.